Hey everyone, welcome to another Painting with Jay. As always, my name is Jay, so grab a brush, grab some paints, grab some models, and paint along with me. Let's rid our world of unpainted models, shall we? In this week's video, I'm going to keep working on my Nob Bikers from last week, but you'll see I made a bit of progress. The knobs themselves are done, and now I'm working on the bikes. My goal is to get the bikes done over the next day or two, all cleaned up, and that way I can get them into battle reports soon, and get on to the next project, which I think is going to be a battle wagon. Yes. So as always, shout out to Cody Rue. Adam, you missed a spot. Let's get started in this week's episode. Alright, so here we go. It's going to be a fun episode. I'm working on these bikes. As you can see, I've made a little progress on the bikes themselves. The knobs are all done. They all look awesome. So I'm going to work on the bikes. I've already started on the brass areas. I'm going to just do a brief highlight of the brass areas today, and then work on the leather areas, so the handles and the seats. And then work on the bone areas if I have time, and then after that, if I really have time, work on the black areas, the tires. Some of the details are going to be my gray liner. So let me grab my palette here, and let's get started. I'm going to add some brass scorpion, as always, to my palette. And yeah, it's going to be good. I'm really excited to have these Nob Bikers done. I really am. These are models that I've had lying around for years and years and years. So let's get them done. Let's get them on the table looking good. I would like to take them to a tournament eventually and have them be accepted, right? Let me just clean off my brush here. There we go. So yeah, I'm just going to do a quick highlight of these areas. And yeah, it'll be a pretty quick step. And then get started on all the brown leather areas. But, and then next I'm going to assemble. So later this week I want to assemble a battle wagon. I'm going to do it as a gun wagon, I've decided. So my next Painting with Jay will be most likely, unless I get it done super fast, which I don't think I will. I had a problem with my brush, which made some brush strokes. I overpainted some areas. I'm going to clean it up after as well. These bikes will look good when they're all cleaned up and stuff. But yeah, I worked a little bit later today, so I figured might as well sit down and do a Painting with Jay. Start the week off right. You know? Good. Look at that. Another one done. Yeah. Time's flying by. It is March. It is March. Wow. You know, it's crazy. I said I'm going to clean up the guns as well afterwards. I'm going to just take a minute and clean up each step. Oops, dropped the bike that I'm painting. There we go. It's going to be a pretty fast step, this highlighting the bronze areas, but that's okay. There are 11 bikes total that I'm working on, so I'm going to have tons of Nob Bikers in the future. You know that I did like about a month and a half ago, I think I did some biker boys, so that's good. Some biker boys are cool, and then there we go. Next, I want to do some leather after this, as I said. But yeah, these guys are turning out really well. I'm trying to dedicate about an hour a day on average to painting them. So I should have them done within the next day or two. And then just simply start my... Well, the basing's going to take a little bit as well. I have to rebase a bunch of them. That's okay. Rebasing them will take a little bit of time, but yeah. But I'm excited. And then next, I'll have a battle wagon working. You know, like I've never used a battle wagon before. So another new orc element that I've never used. I've been playing orcs for so many years, but I play a limited number of permutations. Frankly, I play Nob Bikers. I play, which I've used these guys for many times, unpainted, and I feel ashamed of that a little bit. Yeah, as you can see, these guys are, I'm just doing them really fast. Each step kind of cleans up the paint job. I should be painting a little bit cleaner, but I was painting late last night with a split brush, and I just was like, screw it, let's keep painting. It's all good. I'm going to fix it up later. But I'm really excited to have a battle wagon done as well. The battle wagon was given to me by my friends, you know, Cody Rue and Drewski and Mike, John. So that'll be cool to paint up. I'm in the home stretch. I really am. After this, I have some boys. To paint up. Some Burna Boys, the battle wagon, some terrain. I got a mech workshop. I got it because I won a tournament. Won in a tournament. And yeah, I think I'm gonna I think I'm gonna adjust my goal to be done my orcs by the end of May. Originally I was saying like June, end of June would be my goal. But even so, March, April, May, even those 3 months, that should be ample time. Ample time. Ample time. There we go. I gotta paint this guy. There's a little Gretchen on the side, but I realized that after starting the other parts. All right, that goes the brass areas. It was a pretty quick step. Now I'm going to take some Mournfang Brown and paint all the handles and the seats. Handles and seats. And see, we're only 7 minutes in. Done the first color. This is good. And then after this will be the bone areas. So any of the where there's wrapping, I'm going to do that. Just puts another color on the model. And I'm just taking some Lamy Medium, thinning down my Mournfang Brown a little bit. Alright, let's do the ones that are currently the ones that the knobs are not sitting on at the moment, because that is really easy. I'll paint a couple, 2 thin coats, as Duncan would say. Look at that. I'm doing a little laundry right now, if you can hear in the background. Clean clothes are good. I'm really looking forward to the spring. It is just starting to show a little bit of signs of spring. You know, we're now in March. Yeah, you know, some signs are starting to appear for spring. It's starting to warm up just a little bit. We're getting now into only the high negatives. Some days are starting to be into the, you know, I think next week supposed to go into the positives a couple times, just like 1 or 2 degrees Celsius. But it's a sign, I think, that winter is almost over, you know. Officially, winter ends in like 3 weeks, but that's official. Sorry, unofficially, I should say, because it's going to be spring, but that's not, you know. Many years we get snow well into April. So, there was one year that I was driving back from Adepticon with my friend Owen, and we went through a terrible snowstorm, and that was in April. So, you know, it's just there we go. Yeah, it definitely still snows sometimes in April. April Fools, if you know what I'm saying. All right. Next, yeah, after this, the bone areas. It's all just a bunch of bees after this. First, the bronze, and then brown, and then bone, and then black, and then basing. Obviously, except for maybe a little cleanup in there. But with each color, I'm kind of cleaning up my own the models. You know, started a little messy. It'll all be cleaned up by the end. Look at that. Another one done. See, this is good. I'm gonna do probably 2 coats. There's 1, 2, 3 of them done. I have 11 bikes, as I said, 11 bikes to paint. And these ones were modeled by my friend Rob. He did a really cool, creative job doing them. And it's a shame that I've taken so long to get them to a nice tabletop standard so I can film them in my battle reports, because they look so cool. I really like the way that a lot of them are modeled, so I'm a little annoyed at myself that I didn't paint them so quickly. It's taken a long time to get these guys painted, but that's okay. Better late than never. And that is the message of this series, essentially, that we're working together to rid our world of unpainted models, right? And there's going to be a lot of models that we're going to be ashamed of that have been on our, you know, in our workshops or on our shelves for so long. But now we'll get them done. Yeah, we're going to get these. All right, that guys, I can't be as fast with, so I'll change brushes for a second. Or you know what? Maybe one more. I'll do the last one that is no biked. There we go. So no knob on this bike. And that's it. We're sucking up our pride and painting these things. During this stretch, I've painted models I've had for years and years, especially this most recent orc stretch, right? My orcs I've had accumulating for many years. And I just didn't want to paint them until the new codex came out, because I hate painting models and then, you know, a certain way, and then the new codex comes out and you're like, oh, so that's okay. I am very curious. I was thinking the other day, as I sometimes do, and I was thinking to myself, I think it's official. We have, other than like Sisters of Battle, all the new codices have come out. I think it's done. What else? I know Assassins is going to come out soon. There's going to be like an Assassins update. And of course, it's already been officially announced, the new box set, it's called Shadespire, I think. Shadowspire. Has already come out with some new Chaos Marines, some new Primaris Marines, the models look awesome. Do I think I'm going to buy it? Probably not. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I don't personally see myself buying more Primaris Marines in the near future, and obviously I'd have to have someone willing to take the Chaos half, because I don't play Chaos. There we go. Another one done. I'll do a couple thin coats, hit these with a shade. We're only 15 minutes in, right? So it's not... time really isn't of the essence in this video. It's kind of cool. I'm confident we'll get most of the colors done. Now the question is, how far can I get on the bone areas is one of the parts that I really need to paint, is the bone areas. There are some bone areas on a few of these models. So get those done today. The last major color, other than maybe a little bit of a cleanup, will be the black, which I use for these like little teeth bits, the tires, a couple details on the gun, and this will really clean it up. Maybe some drop some paint, but then I got to do some lighting. There's a few lights on these bikes as well. That's okay. As I said, I'm going to make sure they're all done this week. They'll be done. That's it. They are going to be done this week. I'm not letting these guys get into next week. This is the last week of Nob Bikers. Then Battlewagon. And then I haven't decided yet. I'll play it by ear. I don't really know. But that's okay. As long as my hand is on a brush, and there's a brush in my hand, and it's on a model, that's the important part. I don't care what orc model I'm painting, as long as I'm painting orc models, because I need to get these orc models done. Yeah, maybe some Burna Boys after that. Bikers, Battlewagon, Burna Boys. Bears eat beets. Bears, beets. Battlestar Gallactica. Question: what bear is best? Black bear. Bears eat beets. Bears, Beets, Battlestar Galactica. I know my audience will know that reference. I gotta clean up these brushes in my background. This box running around upstairs. There we go. Next one. Let's clean up. There we go. A little bit less in the background. And all I'm going to do is put another, thin coat. The great thing about thinning down your paints is obviously that it doesn't obscure detail, but also dries much quicker, right? Because being thinner, it has a better surface area to volume ratio. And dries faster. So you can actually, like what I'm doing here, finish up the last one and then go straight back to the first one. Almost spilled my water after last week's oil spill, non-oil spill. Don't want to repeat that. No, don't want to repeat that at all. There we go. this little guy hanging on the side. Yep. Let's thin down some more paint because I'm out of orange fake brown. Then more down, and then repaint the same areas. I definitely hit the 3-color minimum part though. There's definitely 3 color minimums on the bikes. Definitely 3 color minimum on the biker knobs, so that's good. Let's thin down a little bit of paint here. Might be a little too thin. But what else? Nothing. Oh, not much is new. I went and saw Jeff Dunham. That was really good. Dunham.com. I like Jeff Dunham. He's really funny. Good set. He came to Peterborough, which was a little odd. I was actually quite surprised. I didn't know, and my girlfriend got me tickets for Christmas. And I was really happy. Good show. Good show. A lot of fun. It was really cool seeing him finally live. I wanted to see him in Vegas years ago when I was in Vegas, if you guys remember, for the LVO and a couple other things. But he wasn't there at the time. He was touring, I believe, so he wasn't available in Vegas. And now I just see him at my home. You know, I drove 5 minutes, and there he was. So that was really cool. Yeah, good show. Good show. He had Peanut, of course. He opened with Walter. From Walter, he went to. Let's see. Went from. Well, he actually did a huge long set by himself. I'd say about a 20-minute comedy set just with him. And what he did was he established a lot of the foundation of the running jokes throughout the set. You know, like he talked about you got pink eye and his kids, and then then most of the other dummies then at one point reiterated about his kids, and then he had pink eye, which was really funny. But what else he had? He had like a Donald Trump advisor puppet who was very stressed, and that was pretty funny. I think that was my least favorite of all the puppets. It was very similar to Peanut. I know he does get a little bit of criticism that his voices sound the same, but this one was very similar to Peanut, I found. Yeah. Yeah, it was very similar, I found, to Peanut. But it was okay. And then the next one was, so I started with Walter, then went with this, as I said, this advisor guy. And then it was this Siamese twin, or conjoined twin. One being a Republican, one being a Democrat. So it was like a split, you know, they just essentially fought with each other. It was really cool seeing a double-headed puppet. You know, like, you know, multiple arms to manipulate multiple heads. It was cool to see. He was working on a lot of new comedy at that point. He called it the free part of his show. Basically, he told us, you know, that you pay for a show, you get the hits, you get the new stuff, and then you get the really, really new stuff. And with a comedy, you know, with a comedy act like his, it might be good, it might not. So it's really hit or miss, but that's okay. You know, he called it the free portion. So there was a free portion. That was pretty good. Actually, I preferred that over the Trump advisor. Good. Another color done. So now let's lay the foundation of, let's paint some bone areas, I guess. That's all done. Bone. Yeah. Triple B's and dummies today with Jay. Oh, the Oscars. So they happened last week, of course. And So I'm going to take some, not Screaming Skull, I need some Bouchard Bone. Let's put some Bouchard Bone in my palette. Paint that on them. A couple thin coats of Bouchard Bone would be really nice. Hit it with shade, dry brush Bouchard Bone, dry brush Screaming Skull. Life is good. So the Oscars happened, as I discussed last week. The Oscars were about to happen, and Green Book won. Okay, and there's a little bit of controversy this year, but whatever. I was kind of glad Bohemian Rhapsody didn't win. It was okay. Like, I didn't mind Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't think it was worthy of Best Picture. I was kind of surprised that Rami Malek won for Best Actor, frankly. It was an okay movie. It wasn't, like, I liked it, but it wasn't amazing. I don't know. That's just my opinion. What is your opinion? I knew Black Panther wasn't going to win. You know, that would have been huge. It's one of those ones that it was nominated, won a few awards, right? It won some costume design and some stuff that it really did deserve. I don't think it was the best movie of the year. I really don't. It was a good movie. It was one of the better, for sure, it was definitely one of the better Marvel movies. But my favorite Marvel movie is still probably Captain America: Winter Soldier. Thor Ragnarok was a lot of fun. Thor Dark World was not. And Avengers 1 was good. I liked Avengers 1. And Avengers Infinity War was crazy. I can't wait for the new Avengers coming out soon. Captain Marvel's coming out later this week. That'll be good. I'll go see that. Sorry, just got something in my eye. So there's one coat, bone and stuff. Does this one have any bone and stuff? Nope. That makes it easy. My goal is to always have one color drying, one shade drying if possible. You know, so while the brown is drying, I'm going to then start the bone areas. And then when the bone, you know, then when the brown is dried, the Mornfang brown, I'm going to then hit it with a shade of some color. Most likely, I don't know yet. Maybe, you know what, I might do not a Athonian camo shade, Rakeland Flesh shade. That'd be good. Put some red tones in there. You know, that'd be good. Let that dry, and as that drying, you know, do a second coat of bone, and then hit the bone with Agrex Earth shade. Keep going, you know. That's the thing. You got to keep going with these models. When you're batch painting, like I am, you can't stop. Unless you're taking a break, but you know, the key is you got to keep going. Have a color always drying, have a color always being applied. I hate putting down the models and walking away unless it's at the end of the day, and I typically then finish with a shade, because then I can let the shade dry for a few hours, you know, while I'm taking a break or done for the day. But yeah, that's my key to batch painting. Always be painting. Yeah, so what else? Not too surprising. In a lot of ways, in most years, not all years, there tends to be some exceptions. Most years, the Golden Globes is a very good indicator of the Academy Awards. You know, some years they go slightly different and honor a different movie, really, with the awards. But that one doesn't have any bones. This one does. It has horns. So, you know, what else? The only really big difference between the Golden Globes and the Oscars was Best Actress, I believe. The girl won for The Favorite, the heavy favorite there was a movie The Favorite, right? Which the girl won for. Main actress won for the Favorite. But the actual like favorite, like the heavy favorite, was Glenn Close for The Wife, I believe it's called. Never seen it, but she didn't win. She won the Golden Globe though, so I'm guessing she was probably predicting herself to win as well. And that's the thing about these actors. I don't know how actual humble some of them are. Obviously, some would be, some won't be. But if you win the Golden Globe, I bet you're like, okay, I guess I'm the favorite. I know there's a Screen Actors Guild in between those as well, a couple other awards. And I know in a lot of cases it really doesn't matter, right? It's just an award. It puts them in history, of course, you know, the history books. But it's an award. And you shouldn't, as I've gone over a bunch of times, you shouldn't just do what you want to do for awards. It's not the best way of going about things, because then if you don't get the award, it's bitter. You know? Unless you're like a competitive painter, then you should just challenge yourself. You know? I'm not going to win a crystal brush. I am nowhere near as talented or as patient. I'm okay with that. Oh, shoot, I was supposed to move up everyone that I painted so far so that I know which ones have bone, which ones don't. This one... no bone. Next one. Bone. And as you can see, the browns are basically dry. So after the bone colors, I'm going to, in between thin coats for the bone color, Shafty bone, I'm going to then hit all the brown that I painted in the previous step with a Rakeland Flesh Shade, if I can find the Rakeland Flesh Shade, otherwise an Earth Shade. There we go. That's done too. Alright, this guy. No bone. Nope, already painted it. This guy. Horns. Already painted them. And this one. I'll stop here after this one because this is the last one. And then, as you can see, the brown is basically dried. In the previous step, look at that. Definitely over 3 color minimum. That's good. Alright, so let's take a step back. Actually, I could probably paint that one flagpole as well, brown. This. Rob actually magnetized most of the parts. So, which is cool. These guys were made way back in 5th edition, where in 5th edition, for those of you who don't know, wound allocation was done very differently. You could wound allocate very differently. And so if you had a squad of guys, you can allocate 1 wound at a time to each member of the squad, providing each member had a different weapon or some loadout. So what you do is, like a squad of Nob Bikers, to take full advantage of that rule, one would have a combi weapon of this type, one would have a combi weapon of this type, one would have a claw and a boss pole, one would have a claw without a boss pole, one would have, like you just keep adding extra layers of slight different weaponry, so that way you can give 1 wound at a time, fill up everyone with 1 wound, then fill up everyone with a 2nd wound, which would then kill them. But it was a way to keep your guys alive for a long time, because you could just, wound allocate insanely. And they nipped that in the bud in 6th edition, I believe. It was then it became whoever was closest. Do I have a Rakeland Flesh Shade? That's a good question. Let's take a look. Does I hit my chair against? No, that's Caribou Crimson. There we go. Rakeland Flesh Shade. I have a little bit left. Certainly enough for the browns that I'm doing. Okay, let's do these. So, look at that. So now, in this video alone, we've done the brass are done now. This is what I like about this Breaking Flesh shade works very well with Mournfang Brown because of the reds, because it's a reddish brown in Mournfang Brown. So the red in this shade I find really work really well. Yes, back to Oscars. As I said, where am I going? I'm bouncing everywhere. That's okay. That's what typical Painting with Jay is. Green Book won, at the Golden Globes, as did Bohemian Rhapsody. So I figured one of them would win Best Movie. There is some debate about what's going on right now in Hollywood after the weekend. After the Oscar weekend, Steven Spielberg is trying to table some new rules that would basically eliminate Netflix from having contenders in the future. Because those of you who don't know, Netflix had Roma. And one of the reasons why Netflix had Roma was that Roma was nominated so much, and it won several awards, Best Director, Best, couple other things, cinematography or something like that. Netflix spent a lot of money campaigning, so essentially bribing or convincing people to vote for Roma. They spend like 10 times the amount, 10 to 12 times, it's estimated the amount. It's like $50 million advertising for Roma to win, versus like Green Book, who won Best Picture, spent about $5 million, which teaches you a couple lessons. Don't, sometimes it doesn't pay to pay, right? You can't just buy awards, but they kind of did, right? Their movie was nominated, and they won a bunch of nominations, and then they got a Best Director. But Steven Spielberg does not like that. Doesn't like the fact that Netflix never really released their movie. It wasn't a movie designed for theaters, right? It was a movie designed for Netflix. So it was, it's kind of like a made-for-TV movie, right? It doesn't actually have a theatrical release, didn't have a theatrical trailer. And that's what the Oscars are kind of designed for, is theatrical movies, right? You have to have, Netflix did a very, very limited run in a certain number of theaters just so that they could pass the minimum rules to get nominated, right? Like, do the bare minimum. And so it's kind of like the ultimate indie film, if you think about it. Just, very, very low numbers, of course. And so it wasn't a box office movie, and they don't have to release box office numbers because they're Netflix, right? So Netflix follows their own rules, and some people in Hollywood don't like that they get to follow their own rules and then can spend a fortune campaigning for these movies, like 10 times the amount of any other movie, which is pretty crazy. Right? That's a lot of money. $50 million was spent just campaigning for the movie. Like, that's nuts. So we'll see. I don't really know what to think. What do you guys think? Does it even matter to you is the question. Like, it doesn't. I don't think it. In the end, I don't know if it really even matters to me. I'm not the biggest Oscar person, but I do think it's an interesting debate, because I do think Netflix is kind of the future of the medium, right? I do think that this way of doing things is probably the way of the future. So maybe they're trying to nip it in the bud while they can. I don't know. Maybe it scares some of these older Hollywood people, because they can do things that these people can't do, So now that shade has been put down, I'm going to put down another thin coat of Chablis du Bone. As you can see, it's really going to come to life after this color. The second coat, the first one does have a lot of transparency because it's thin. Once you do the second coat, it really does, remove the blue beneath it. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Does it even matter? I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. It's just probably news. But it's interesting, as I said, because it's addressing something. I think it's the way of the future. I really do. Netflix is a powerhouse. It spent how many hundreds of millions of dollars, like $700 million, just to keep Friends? That's nuts. One down. This one does not have bone. Done. I don't know. It's a very interesting situation. Yeah, I don't know. So going back to my original thoughts, I do wonder what GW is going to do for the near future, because we're at that point now where pretty much they've been very efficient. Other than, you know, we know a new Sisters codex will eventually drop. There's a beta codex right now. But Sisters is basically it, right? I think that's it. Genestealer Cult's done now. I can't really name another army that doesn't have a new codex. Am I missing one? I don't know. All the Space Marines have been basically covered a bunch of times over. Chaos has been covered. Orcs definitely covered, as you guys know by me. That's why I'm painting orcs. So orcs are done. Genestealer Cult, Eldar, Dark Eldar. Sisters is the only one remaining. And of course there will be a new, as I said, a brief update to Assassins. Oops. Done. So we're at that stage now where it's been 2 years, right? It's been 2 years. This is the second year. The previous edition had, I think, a 3-year lifespan. One before that, a 2-year lifespan. I really, really hope there's not a new edition right now, because I haven't even played enough in this edition. I would have to go play a few tournaments just to get my money's worth out of this edition. Which is my fault, really, but come on, that's... Alright, so now those are drying. Oh, I missed one, actually. Adam, I, like you, have missed a spot. Right here, those guys. I don't really know. Maybe a new edition's going to come out this year. I haven't heard anything through the grapevine. Last couple times I've been kind of... I've heard, like, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think this will be the year of a new edition? Because everything's been updated. It's all done. Maybe we're going to enjoy just a bit of a time, like a year and a half under the new edition. Because these chapter approves keep tweaking the rules, so I don't see them needing to constantly come up with a new rule set when they've been tweaking the rules anyway. Right, with the beta rules and all that stuff. Okay, so while those are drying, and before I hit them with Agric Earthshade, I might as well start on the black areas then. What time is it into? 43 minutes. Okay, good. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I can't, so I'm going to take some gray liner, because I don't know. No, blue liner. That would be good. Gray liner. I'm definitely putting this on my shopping list when I go to Adepticon. I usually buy like 3 or 4 gray liners. I love it. It's one of my favorite colors to use. So, yeah, I'll pick up a few. So now, let's paint. As you can see, the shade is drying, but this is going to be one of those colors that I really do feel it kind of completes and cleans up a lot of parts. The tires, whenever I'm painting these kind of vehicles, take a lot of the grossness. Like, I overpaint onto the tires all the time. So if I can, you know, clean up the tires and these little teeth things as well. It really does finish finish up the model. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. I really hope that there's not a new edition coming. We'll probably get wind of it at Adepticon if there is. Maybe not. But lately, I don't know. We're in that stage now where it's been a couple years, you know? It's been a couple years. And it's hard to estimate when the next edition will drop. It used to be a 4-year lifespan between editions, and now it's been either 2 or 3, the last 2, right? I think it was a 2-year for 6th, a 3-year for 7th. So I'm kind of hoping that we get 1 more full year out of the current edition. I love playing that game. It's like, I hope I get another year out of this edition. It's kind of like my car. I want to get another like 5 months out of my car. And then I'm happy. There we go. A couple cleanup colors afterwards. Yeah. As you can see, there's some color on this bike. Carver Crimson. Okay, I must have spawned the right flash shade. Yeah, brings up a good question though. When do you think 9th edition will drop? Or do you think there's just going to be a huge focus change to AOS? Because now that, you know, 40K is pretty much done with its updates, should Age of Sigmar get some love? The answer is probably yes. I know Age of Sigmar is nowhere near as popular in this area, but maybe it's more popular in other areas, like England or Europe. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know if I don't know if it is, but maybe it's going to get some love for the next little while too, and get updated. I think the Mouse Army is getting the next update, I think. So, yeah, kind of curious. What is the future of 40K? Primaris Marines, I know that one. That one I do know. But, because whatever update they have, it's always with the Primaris Marine joint attachment. And you see this, yeah, the bikes are really messy right now. But I'm going to clean them all up. I have a couple colors to clean it all up. And these bikes will be good. They're going to be in good shape for the end of the week. This is my last, as I said, my last few days with these bikes, and then Battle Wagon. I still have to assemble the Battle Wagon, which will take probably a couple hours. Got oh man, these bikes. As I said, I can't wait to have them all done. I am going to be happy, Jay. when I get all my works done. And then I'll turn my attention to the next thing. So maybe I'll paint some terrain for a few weeks. I put in an order recently with Death Ray Designs to get some more terrain for my table. And that'll be good. Painting some more winter style terrain. Winter's coming. Look at that. Yeah, these bikes are really cool. I really like the way that Rob modeled them, but I want them done. And I said I'm glad to have them finally done, better late than never, because I can't wait to... My ultimate dream, essentially, as I said, I think I've said this in another video, is to one day buy a model, bring it home, and paint it with no guilt that I have so many other models in its way. And it's kind of a pipe dream, I know, but that's kind of my dream. Alright, after that one, and my gray liner is pretty much done for the 2 tires that I painted. Let me just quickly use up the remainder of it on this one. I'll turn my attention back to the bone areas, hit them with an Agrax Earthshade, and then probably end the video there. Because we're at 51 minutes. We've got a lot accomplished today. I am seriously, yeah, I'm really looking forward to Adepticon. Seeing all my gamer buddies, just relaxing for a week, you know. I have a break a couple times a year. This is one of them, you know. Before that was Christmas, so I have not really had a couple days off since Christmas. And then, you know, the occasional, like weekends obviously, but weekends are busy. Perfect. Let's put those guys back. Okay, so I'm going to hit these things with Agrax Earthshade quickly, and then we'll go from there. And then I'll spend about 20 minutes on each bike just cleaning up the details, make it look all nice and better. After the black areas are done, and yeah, and then the minute details. Of course, I still have to paint that one Gretchen on the one bike. Okay, let's paint these. Yeah, just clean them up, make every bike look decent, and then life will be good. Then on to the next painting challenge, you know, which, as I said, I think I'm going to hit my goal. My goal is to get these guys all done before June. I figured it'd be June, but I think I'll have them done by May at latest. The current rate I'm going, I should have the Battle Wagon done before I leave for Adepticon. Maybe some Burna Boys. Get back in April. Yeah, it'll be April or May, I think. I'm gonna have to slow down a little bit, only because I'm studying for more certification that I'm writing in April as well. That'll be okay. It'll be good. Get as much done as I can while I can, you know? And yeah. Look at that. Awesome. I'm down to the last few colors. That is a successful painting with J. When I started this painting with J today, the brasses were needing to be done. After an hour, colors are really coming to be done. I don't know what I'm saying. It's early. Here we go. These guys are going to be done. I can't wait. Next week, Battlewagon. And then, I think Burn It Boys. Keep with the alliteration. Bikes, Battlewagon, Burn It Boys. Bears, Beets, Battlestar Gallactica. Look at that. All done. All right, let's end here. All right, so that concludes another episode of Painting with Jay. I hope you got some stuff done too, and that your world is slowly being written of unpainted models as well, like mine. I'm excited to get these bikers done off my table, into battle reports. Life will be good. So stay tuned for more Painting with Jay. As always, this video is brought to you by my Patreon subscribers. Link in the description below if you want to help support my campaign. It's because of them that I keep making this much content. So stay tuned for more videos. And as always, till next time, Mr. J saying, happy painting with me.